on
Yes.
on one of your mini vacations. Christine Brennan came on the show. She has a new book about Caitlin Clark out that reached number 2 on the New York Times bestseller list, still in the top 10.
Yeah, it's called On Her Game, Caitlin Clark and the Revolution in Women's Sports.
And Ramona was in.
Yep.
And Christine, as you know, Mace, is from Toledo.
Yeah.
So she offered to come back on a day you'd be here, and we now welcome to the show the great Christine Brennan. Christine, thank you for doing this.
Hi,
How are
Christine.
you?
Oh, my gosh, guys, I'm great. And, of course, John, great to be with you again. And sorry, Ramona's not there. But, Steve, we've got to talk about Northwest Ohio, your career starting in Toledo. And, of course, you're a Bowling Green Falcon.
Yes.
Which we kind of hated because we were big Toledo Rockets fans.
Oh, you were
that.
you were a Toledo Rockets fan. I went to Bowling Green. That was our arch rival. Where did you go to high school in Toledo?
Ottawa Hills High School.
Ottawa Hills was where the rich kids went.
Well, and it worked out for Christine.
Yes.
It launched her to be great. Now, Mace, you were trying to argue that your career has been as successful as Christine's, but I don't think, Mace, you know the full extent of this.
Okay, can I just say, you have teed this out. I have not claimed to have a better career than Christine. You've teed this up as me versus
such
her.
A chicken.
I'm like, yeah, I think I made a mark. Christine, you have obviously been doing this for a while. You've made a mark. I think I've made a bigger one, but okay.
Yeah, no, exactly. So, Steve, where did you go to high school?
Maumee High School.
Maumee, okay. Not Maumee Valley, but Maumee.
Maumee Valley
Maumee
was
High
where
School.
the rich kids went.
Yeah.
Well, we played them in field hockey, yes. So I am revealing myself to be a true Ottawa Hills Green Bear, and this is where the book kicked off, by the way, for all of Toledo, not just for Ottawa Hills a couple of weeks ago. But yes, Maumee, obviously a suburb of, for the millions of people listening in Southern California who have no idea what we're talking about.
Well, that's okay. That's only one of the reasons. That's only one of the reasons we brought you on, Christine.
Can you guys get back to Caitlin Clark, please?
Yes,
absolutely.
We are absolutely going to do it.
But we have to. Ottawa Hills is a suburb. Sylvania is another suburb. That's where Katie Holmes is from.
Rich kids.
And, of course, Maumee, Perrysburg. On it goes. So we could talk about the geography of Northwest Ohio for a while.
We'll do that privately, Christine. We'll do that privately.
Okay.
I heard that Caitlin Clark gets great ratings, so we should talk about her.
Yeah, and not only that, Mate, she's in town. Caitlin's in town. Now, Christine, she's unlikely to play tomorrow night in L.A. against the Sparks, correct?
That is correct. This is her 4th injury. This is a woman who before this season, guys, missed a game sophomore year of high school in West Des Moines at Dowling Catholic, one game, a sprained ankle, and her high school coach tells me in the book it about killed Caitlin to miss that one game sophomore year of high school. So then all through the rest of high school, AAU, all of college, and of course last year in the WNBA, never missed a game. And now her 4th injury. They're taking their time with this one. This is her right groin, and I think that's smart because they're playing well. They've won 5 in a row without her. And the idea now, the way I see it, is that you want to get her 100% healthy, like not 99.9%, because the odds are they're going to make the playoffs. And with her healthy, they could win the whole thing. So why not gear up for the middle of August, end of August? That's what it's looking like right now, that she would come back and then just go, hopefully for her sake. Obviously, this is so disheartening for her because she's never been injured. She always plays. She loves playing. She would play with migraines, you guys, because she knew fans were coming. Even in college, she would do that, knowing people were coming to watch her play. Very appreciative, and also her sense of duty and responsibility is extraordinary. So, again, very strange for her, but she will probably almost certainly not play on this road swing for her with L.A. and then Phoenix. But it's the right thing to do to get her healthy in a couple of weeks so she can be ready for that stretch run and hopefully for the fever of the playoffs.
Christine Brennan is with us. Her book is On Her Game, Caitlin Clark and the Revolution in Women's Sports. So, Christine, where would this revolution be if there hadn't been a Caitlin Clark that came along?
Well, I wouldn't have written a book, and we wouldn't be talking.
True.
And you and I wouldn't be regaling the sports fans of LA with Toledo stories. But to me, she is, and it's a great question. I don't think I've been asked this on this entire book tour. Excellent question, guys. I feel like we wouldn't have the exclamation point on what we're watching in our neighborhoods. The girl next door, the girl you see in the kitchen every morning with her gear over her shoulder, going to volleyball and then softball and then lacrosse and changing in the car. The sense that we've done it, the sense of accomplishment, the sense that the country has fallen in love with what it has created with Title IX, now 53 years old. Obviously, the law that opened the floodgates for girls and women to play sports like their brothers did for generations. And instead, that law, 53 years, perfect amount of time. Things take a while. Doesn't happen overnight. 99 Women's World Cup, obviously at the Rose Bowl, 90,000 people, 40 million more watching on TV. I was there covering that. You felt like that was a seminal moment. It was, for sure. Mia Hamm, Brandi Chastain, Brianna Scurry, that whole group. Well, 2.5 years after that moment, July 10th, 1999, 2.5 years later, a little baby is born in Des Moines, Iowa, and is part of a generation born at the beginning of this century.
Yeah.
Young women, I'm related to one that literally got full blast Title IX after the Women's World Cup, and moms and dads going, I want my daughter to play sports just like my son. And lo and behold, America, here she is, all grown up, Caitlin Clark.
Christine Brennan is joining us. She's written several books, but the book On Her Game about Caitlin Clark is right now on the New York Times bestseller list and available in stores. Christine, answer this any way you want. Why is Caitlin Clark, who from all accounts seems great teammate, great role model, great player, but she's polarizing? Why is she polarizing in your opinion?
She shouldn't be, and I deal with that in the book, going great lengths in addition to how great she is, what a role model, how much fun she is. I mean, she's just got a great sense of humor, great teammate. Her teammates love her, love being on the receiving end of those passes, of course, as well as, watching those logo threes go in. But why? Why is she polarizing? Because it's a 74% black league that never got the attention it deserved from the mainstream sports media for various reasons. And players that we might have hoped would be superstars and transcendent, part of our culture, not just sports, but moving into the culture, being discussed in the produce section, like Caitlin Clark is, what time's her game tonight, and let's get home, make sure we know where Ion is on our, our TV, on our cable system. Those women didn't get that attention and didn't get that coverage, and most of them were black. And I think that's certainly been an issue. I deal with that in the book. I talked to the great Dr. Harry Edwards, civil rights leader, a black man, the man behind the Mexico City Black Power Salute in 1968 Olympics, and his voice saying the WNBA failed its players. That's Harry Edwards, not me, in the book, talking about what should have happened, understanding the magnitude of this moment, that a white woman's going to come in and be the superstar of a 74% black league. I don't belabor this point. There's way more Caitlin Clark magic in sports and an escape in On Her Game. But I do think it's important to touch on these issues with voices who know, right? People who get it, who've lived it. Brianna Scurry, the goalkeeper, the first black superstar of the women's soccer team. Her voice, too, saying, come on, you guys, get it. This is important. This is the moment. Don't get dragged down into all this other negativity. And so there are voices saying, don't do this. And yet the players, some of them, seem very obviously upset that Caitlin Clark has been so successful. The commissioner, Kathy Engelbert, I deal with her in the book. She cannot say Caitlin Clark's name in a 27-minute State of the League speech and Q&A at the first game of the finals. 27 minutes. All she's doing, guys, is talking about the bigger arenas, the record TV viewership, the record attendance, all because of one person, Caitlin Clark. Those are the facts. Facts are facts. Funny thing about facts. Data is data. It's all in the book. And yet the commissioner cannot say her name. And I call her on that, and then she actually gets something wrong, and I put all that in the book. So the bottom line is they can't do it. They're almost paralyzed. It's so troubling. And the fact it's happening in year two, we're well into the second half of year two of the Caitlin Clark era in the WNBA and throughout U.S. sports, women's sports, worldwide. And they're still having trouble. I also think, real quick, weird. Obviously, no surprise, though, to you or your listeners, we're a polarized society.
Yep.
Obviously.
Yep.
Politics, so you throw that in. It's set against the backdrop of a presidential election last year. There's a lot going on, but they need to cut it out because this is the moment. This is the greatest moment ever for the WNBA. Take it and run with it. The old saying, of course, rising tide lifts all boats. That's what's happening. And they need to realize that as quickly as possible.
Last thing for you. Caitlin Clark at last check, and she's got unbelievable sponsorship deals and all that, but she's making $78,000 and change to play in the WNBA. They're selling franchises now for $250 million. The Valkyries up at Golden State are at $500 million in valuation and could be the first billion-dollar women's sports franchise. When does this money wind up in the pockets of these talented players?
Yeah, the collective bargaining agreement, they are negotiating now. They've opened that back up. We'll see that get better. But, as you said, $76,000 last year for Caitlin, 78, whatever now. Of course, she's making millions with her endorsements.
Yes.
And that, millions and millions, 28 million alone with Nike and probably close to 40 million or so total. Well-deserved. In fact, she should be making more than that probably from Nike. They got a bargain because she's bringing all these young girls and women into sports in a way that these companies want forever. These women will grow up and run their households, right, and make these buying decisions. But the reality is, look at the decimal points we have to move. The top draft pick in the NBA, $57 million salary, $57 million to $78,000. But it's going to change with this new bargaining agreement, and it will keep getting better. And that's a victory, right? Because it's not going to reach the NBA numbers in my lifetime and our lifetimes. But I do think it is getting better. But Caitlin Clark is the economic rocket ship for this league. And they're going to ride her, and obviously that helps a lot with the ratings and what have you. And she's willing to be that person as well, which is wonderful, of course.
All right, Christine, let me piggyback on that, and then we'll let you go. Is there a chance, if these players at the All-Star game, they all wore those shirts that said, pay us what we're worth, is there a chance that if the WNBA screws this up and they don't give them a fair offer, that these girls could combine together, for lack of a better term, and go like to a live type of thing? I'm not saying it would necessarily be Saudi money, but are they ripe for a competitive takeover if they don't do right by the players?
We talked about this the last time, right, where we said, and in fact, it made a lot of news where it was more whimsical, right? Could Caitlin Clark start her own league? And she's the only one who could. And I know you're asking a different question this time. Clearly, that would be years down the road. You don't just do that and then next year. Yeah. But, what they can't do is strike. There's talk about a work stoppage or something. That would be insanity. Yeah. They're not there yet. And I think, again, leadership, what we've talked about, and what is the hallmark of this last year and a half with the WNBA, the vacuum. The agents need to help the players understand the moment. The players need to, be smart about this. Caitlin Clark is mature beyond her years, 22 going on 40 or 50, as I say in the book, and how lucky the WNBA is that Caitlin Clark is as mature and kind and confident and doesn't blast away, when she could in press conferences. But they need her desperately, but they also need to be smart and play this right and look at the long game. I think anything is possible, but they can't strike. They can't have a work stoppage. They need to be around, and they need Caitlin Clark back as quickly as possible to get those ratings up and to get fans. It's not just the average sports fan. It's the guy, especially, who never cared about women's basketball, who hated it, who now is wearing a number 22 jersey, not only to the games, but to the grocery store and the gas station. Yeah. And that's the person you don't want to alienate.
Hey, listen, Christine, this has been fantastic.
So good, Christine.
The book is called On Her Game, Caitlin Clark and the Revolution in Women's Sports. It is written by fellow Toledoan Christine Brennan. Christine, great to talk to you. Thank you so much. Congratulations on the book. It's terrific stuff.
Well, my pleasure, Steve and John. And I know, John, you wish you were a Toledoan as well, don't you?
My whole life, Christine. It taunts me at night.
Yes.
All right. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you.
There's the world-famous Christine Brennan. Coming up next, John, did MLB